Please help me welcome contestant number 5, Vishnu. Vishnu, stand back up. Stand back up, Vishnu.
The stage was set. The audience was set. The judges in the front row, all set. My friends in the third row, all set. And my class teacher finally called out my name. Next contestant, Vishnu. As I walk onto the stage, my parents look at me with their eyes full of pride because they think their son will someday become the president. Parents. But when I see the audience, I see the hundreds of additional eyes looking at me, and there it started. At the tip of my toes, slight shivering. Then my knees started to shake. Then my entire body started to shake. I had memorized 2 pages, but all I could remember were the sounds of an old printer. Up, 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 up. It wasn't bad, it was terrible. So terrible that the judges in the front row eventually asked me, just read it from the page maybe. And guess what? I ruined that too. I took out the page and the page flew. With every ounce of my self-respect, it just flew. It took 6 years for my self-respect to return. By then, my parents had given up on the president. But I still dreamt of delivering that speech. So I went back to a contest. This time I wrote 3 pages and prepared for 4 weeks. Asked my parents to stay at home. I even memorized the first line, which was ladies and gentlemen. But when I saw the audience, I see the mic and the hundreds of eyes. The line that came out was JDs and gentlemen. The judges were holding their faces. And there it started, all over again, at the tip of my toes, slight shivering. By the time it reached my lips, I was the same old printer. And I ended up saying, ladies and gentlemen, self-respect. Contest chair and my fellow dreamers. I lost and immediately went into hiding, doing nothing productive, because in reality, I was just afraid of failing. Are you afraid of failing? Are you afraid that you'd make a mockery of yourself in front of your people, your friends, your this, your that? I was exactly that. In fact, I was the president of that. And for 6 years, that fear killed my dreams one by one. Whenever I dreamt of starting my own company, that old printer would go off. Up, 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 up. Whenever I thought I should run my own business, same printer, up, 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 up. Whenever I thought I should resign from this company, from this crappy job, up, 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 up. Because I chose to be unhappy instead of failing. Until I saw my 1-year-old nephew fail. He was this long. And he wanted to climb on top of the sofa with his tiny legs. And he failed miserably. He fell flat on his face. Padak! I thought he'd start crying. I was watching. I wanted to help. But then he started giggling. And he giggled. Up, 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 up. And something clicked because I'd heard that old printer before. So I watched. He stood back up, tried again, fell again, kept on trying, kept on failing. And when I finally felt that I'm probably a bad uncle, he succeeded. He sat on top of the sofa, turned around, looked at me, and said, up, 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 up. His elbows and knees were still bruised, but he was happy. And that clicked something. The only way to get stronger is to break yourself and stand back up. So I went back to another contest. By then I had failed so many times that when I asked my parents to come, they started saying up, 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 up. But all I could see was how my nephew laughed it off. So I went in with many speeches on many sheets of paper. And guess what happened? I failed gloriously. Not once, not twice, but every time. There was one constant. That smile from my nephew's face. Because all I wanted was that smile on my face. So I tried again. I failed again. I kept on trying. I kept on failing. And when I finally felt that I'm probably a bad speaker, I realized I wasn't afraid of the stage anymore. I realized I wasn't afraid of failing anymore. And for the first time in my life, I stood on the stage, looked at the audience, and smiled. A week later, I resigned from my crappy job. A month later, I became the president of my own company. My fellow dreamers, at some point, we've all let our fears eat up our dreams. But when you stand back up, those demons in your mind, they melt away. Those demons that stop you from taking that chance melt away in front of your eyes. All you have to do is stand back up. Look around you. Your stage is set. Your friends and family are set. There's always that voice inside that calls out your name, isn't it? Are you going to let fear kill that dream? Or are you going to stand back up? Walk towards that dream. Go walk towards that dream of being someone. There are no judges in the front row. Go walk towards that dream of achieving something. Go walk towards that dream of buying that dream home for your parents. Don't stop. Your life begins where your fear ends. Now, when you go back home, that dream will speak to you. And that fear will return. It will start at the tip of your toes, and it will make your whole body shiver. When that happens, how will you answer? Up, 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 up? Or will it be contest chair?
We will now have a minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots.